Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered why awareness is so hard? Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris, and as always, I'm here with Nicholas T. Smith.
I do it a little different. You're supposed to be like, yeah.
I
There's
love
a
you.
there's a small gap between I love you and I hate you. It's like
Rock out.
worship the devil, and
Oh, yeah, that's right.
it's not very large distance between the two of those.
Nope,
But yeah,
nope. Just
right.
one thumb away.
One thumb away. I'm
Uh,
only one thumb away.
oh,
This is why we speak and not sing.
this is 100% true.
Except Ryan can sing.
A
Anyway,
little bit.
yeah, dude's got a voice.
If you have not subscribed on Wake Up with Giants TV on YouTube, go hit the alert button and subscribe so you know when we go live every single dang time. And then come join us on Facebook, A Tribe of Giants. It's a great place to be. And today we are talking about how awareness is so hard because sometimes it really, really is.
It is. Good morning, Teresa.
Hello.
But before we do
Hi,
anything,
Jen.
this this episode is sponsored by yours. No, not Vaseline. Nope. I don't even know why you have that by your desk. And Blue Almond Diamonds. Yeah, what a bad combination. This episode is sponsored by Vaseline and Blue Diamond Almonds.
That'd be the
God knows
worst
what you're gonna
combo
do.
ever.
Yeah. No, the upcoming SG group. So we're in SG4 right now. Upcoming SG5s facilitated by Nicole Castillo. And so there is a webinar that was just posted today if you want to check that out, because SG5 is coming up April 5th. So if you missed SG4, which is Sum Gigante 4, which is the group for the Giants, then Nicole Castillo is facilitating one in April. And so if you have any questions, just reach out to us. But part of this is one of the journeys, the awareness journey. And oh man, Jen Walter, I know you're on here.
Hi, Jen.
You wrote, I think during this segment or something close to it, FUTU, which was FU Nick, and thank you, right? Because it was really hard. Awareness can be a challenge. Awareness can be really hard for people. And a lot of it has to do is we create awareness around our behaviors and our way of being in life, and then we still do it. We still do it. And there's this feeling of frustration and overwhelm and disappointment that now we know about it. Life was so much easier when we didn't know why it was so hard. It was just hard. It was outside of our control. And then we wake up to it and it's like, oh shit. And it's still hard. Like nothing changes. And I think this is where awareness can be a big challenge is awareness is simply paying attention to the thoughts, words, behaviors, and emotions that create the activity in our life, that become our habits in our life, that create our reality in our life. I'll throw that in there, in our life. And so it can hit really hard. After last night's course, it was there were a few messages out of, man, that really hit. And I don't know why, but I'm feeling this, and some really intense emotions around it. Awareness is one of those things that when you are aware, you can start to change your life. And it's the blessing and it's the challenge of change. And most people resist change because it's hard. Change is hard. Most change initiatives in a business, in a person, fail. And it's because we have a limited amount of energy that we can put towards something. And so when we have to go change our life, and we've been doing an automatic way for so long, and now we're aware, now it just became exponentially harder. It's like we just got slapped in the face of not only is it happening, but I'm responsible for its happening in my life. And so being gentle, this is a thing that it sounds so cliche. Be gentle with yourself, as though automatically you're going to switch it over and just start being gentle with yourself around your awareness. And then things just automatically change. It's like some magic pill. And Ryan, I don't know if you've noticed this, but every morning I have routine and I have ritual, and it's small things. And I don't know, maybe you want to tell that story, and maybe you don't.
He starts with his one eye opens up first.
One eye opens.
And then the other. Then he karate kicks out of bed.
That's you.
Oh, that is me.
That's a bicycle kick out of bed.
I do the bicycle kick out of bed. Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought that this was
big old roundhouse to the blankets. Yeah.
Morning routine for Nick Smith.
Actually, you don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, that would be interesting. No, that's not.
So I need to go back to our sponsors.
Go back to our sponsors. Blue Diamond Almonds.
Blue Diamond Almonds.
No, first thing is I jump out of bed. I sit straight up and jump out of bed. Little thing, but I get out of bed, and then I make my bed, and then I create myself. And so that creation of myself every day, it's a little creation and a reminder. This is who I'm going to be today. And I'm not perfect at it. Perfection, if I were to redefine that for you, simply means to perform and to complete. Perfecere in Latin means to perform and to complete. So if I'm doing something and I finish it, well, that's perfection, but we think we need to be flawless. And that's the idea, is when you become aware, now it's like, well, I don't have this. I'm not actively doing this, and I don't have that. And it just seems overwhelming because there's so much to do. And so what do? We go numb out somehow. We get busy with our work, or we go back to our unconscious state, and nothing changes. But now we know about it. So we're even more frustrated because now we know and nothing changes, and it just feels even more overwhelming. And so there's an opportunity here to take little steps, small steps, repeated, create complexity. And our brains are designed to support us one way or the other. They don't care. The brain doesn't care. In fact, the brain is a paradox. It's the one yelling at you, telling you need to change. And then it's also the one that doesn't want to change. It's like, how the hell did we create that? Like the prefrontal cortex, the part of you that is aware of everything and just says, look, we need to do this. And then there's this automatic simple part, like that part takes a lot of energy. And then there's the simple part that is like, hey, let's just go back to our old behaviors. Let's sleep in today. Let's not go to the gym today. Let's eat this food today. Let's do the automatic stuff we've always done. So now you got this battle between these two parts, but they both serve, because one automates things and the other allows you consciousness enough to automate things. But the battle between them is that I'm broken, I'm flawed, I'm this, and then that gets in the way. So we don't take the small steps repeated over time to create the automation. And so awareness is simply an opportunity to start taking small steps to create the automation that will change your life. Change it's not an instant process. Sometimes there are some things that do occur that create an instant change, but it's usually traumatic. But it's an opportunity to be gentle with yourself, as you are going to have these judgments come up. You're going to have triggers and emotions come up as you do the work. And awareness simply means that now you know about it. And you can go into a lot of judgment and really tie yourself up and not make the change because it seems too overwhelming. And this is where we go back to create a ritual, a routine, and do it with small steps. Like giants still take small steps. They're just bigger in capacity. They're more down the road with a certain item than we are. You know, Hugh this morning shared about reading The Shack, and he's read it 75 times. And every time he reads it from a different view because he's shifted in his world. So when he goes back to read it, now his awareness has changed. So now when he reads it from a different space. And that's how it goes with the book, The Giants and the Smalls, is you'll read it and then you'll read it 10 years down the road and it'll be different because you'll read it from a different space. Life works by repetition. Each day is almost the same. It feels like Groundhog's Day. And so this is where I say be gentle, because if your 24 hours look the same as yesterday's 24 hours, the only difference is today you know about what you were doing, then that can feel really hard. You have some thoughts on that?
Other than that, I've been there and probably there currently.
Yeah.
There's so I liked this, the battlefield of the mind.
Yeah.
I've also shifted my perspective on it, and I actually enjoy. This might be sick, but I kind of enjoy it because I realize, oh, I'm becoming aware of something or that behavior or the way of being,
Yeah.
and it gives me opportunity. Doesn't necessarily always make it like sunshine and roses, because
Right.
sometimes it could be draining.
Yeah.
It could be, like uh, as you're starting those new habits and it's those things, the old patterning comes up. Yeah, it can be, a little bit of a battlefield of the mind. And so I can
Yeah.
see where people, they can have a lot of strong feelings come up. They can have guilt. They can have the we've talked about that, the shame, the guilt, the worry, the doubt, the fear. All those things come up. That's the judge. But you can also then choose the other direction and find that space to go, okay, those things are coming up. They're relevant. They're real. Feeling it. But, and then move forward from
Yeah.
that, and then choose a different path, or stay on the path that you were that you were going down, the good path, I guess. I don't know if it's good,
Yeah.
bad, but the path that you had chosen. Stay committed, and over time, those will become those patterns and those steps, and they'll have the gravity
Yeah.
versus the other thing.
Right. They get the mass, right? Like they start to get that gravity and that mass, but your old behaviors don't go away. It's not like it's just, wow, you
Right.
decided to change and your old behaviors are just gone. I think having grace for the idea that your old behaviors are going to be just as active as they've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And to create a new pathway just gives you a chance to create that pathway and build mass around that new pathway over time. Maybe this is why we do blue diamond almonds and Vaseline, right?
Hey, it's low
Uh,
sodium.
yeah, the idea here is that you don't have to rush anything with your growth. Yet there's this urgency that we create within ourselves is, yeah, but I'm 47 years old and I've lost all this time and others are so far ahead of me and I've lost this time. And so we create this rush. And then in that rush, we shut down. And I'll tell you where growth occurs is right here in the prefrontal cortex.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you shut down and you get into a panic state and you get anxious and your mind shuts down, it's hard to access that because your mind goes into a survival state. It goes into a stress induced state. And so you don't have full access to your brain. So if you can stay calm through it and create peace with what is while you create the new, that's what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So you stay calm through the storms and you create your new path. We talked to a client who she said I would go unconscious on this train of being, and I would end up over here like miles away from where I want to be. And then I'd get mad because I wake up and I took the train from Salt Lake City to Tokyo and I was totally unconscious the whole way. So what I did is I hopped on the shame train back. So I took the shame train all the way back so that I could start over again. And on the shame train, we guilt ourselves. We make ourselves feel bad, like we're broken and all this stuff. And so we ride that all the way back to the start and then try and do it again. And then we go unconscious. And now we're in Tokyo again. It's like, what the hell? Well, why not in Tokyo get off and just create a new pathway and keep doing that and keep doing that until that strengthens is repetition. If you look at Buddhist monks, I put a video up today of a monk who talks about awareness. And he says, you can tell the time of the day by what the monks are doing in their ritual. You would know that at this time they do that ritual or that routine. They're very ritualistic. And so they have this ability to control their mind at a level that most of us won't ever understand. And our challenge is that we can't just all of us be monks in our world all the time. Like we have to engage and go create work and food and family and all this stuff. And so we have this balancing of the two worlds, but ritual and routine and small steps repeated are part of the process no matter what. So if you want to create change, commit to showing up each day, even if you get off track and it goes south, pick it right back up. So just keep going. So does that make sense? I don't know if I said anything that made any kind of
made lots of sense.
Yeah.
Teresa was wondering about overwhelm when
when overwhelm comes up, which it will.
When you become aware, but
softening it is a big thing. So there's overwhelm, there's anxiety, there is this, and allowing for it, because a lot of us resist it. I know better than this. That's what we say. I know better. This shouldn't be an issue because I learned this in this course last week. Nick taught me this in this course and I know it now, and yet I'm still doing it. And so we really hammer on ourselves for doing it. Like, I shouldn't feel overwhelmed. No, you probably should, if we're going to should on it. But you could create it in a way where there's gentleness around it and there's space for it. Like, well, there's overwhelm, as though it's some third party, as though you're at the zoo and you're like, there's a giraffe. It's no different. And you would just observe it and say, well, there's a giraffe, but you don't go in the cage and start punching the giraffe and saying, hey, dude, get out of here. You don't belong here, which is what we do with our emotions. You allow it to be there. You observe it. And then you re-engage with your purpose. And the thing with purpose, people who don't have purpose tend to die off early. There's research that shows it. And the challenge is we think purpose is some complex thing, but Viktor Frankl in his work talks about it simply being a place to rest, a purpose, a thing that gives us meaning in our life, and it's made up and it doesn't matter. Some people become doctors. Don't punch giraffes. Don't take Blue Diamond almonds to a giraffe fight. You'll lose. Yeah. It definitely looks like it. Mine does too. You know, I have the emotions and some days I'm better at it than others. But truthfully, giving room for it, giving grace for it. Debbie Roth just did a great newsletter on grace, and she just released that for March. It might be on her personal page. If you can go read her article, Debbie Roth, talk about somebody that does work around forgiveness work, which is what we do. We judge ourselves and then we don't forgive ourselves for judging ourselves. And we do something, we judge ourselves as broken, and then we judge ourselves for judging that. And then we get stuck in this cycle. There's no room for grace. There's no room for faultiness. And so if you can give yourself a little room and just re-engage with your purpose, which is made up, whatever you choose it to be, and it could be small at first. It doesn't have to be something grand, but have something that gives you meaning in life. And then step into that and keep re-engaging every day. Re-engage with the new creation. It's repetition. I don't know. I just went unconscious. I just blacked out there. Some people they go unconscious. They get in a fight or whatever. I go unconscious. I start ranting and
I thought it was great.
Doing? Yeah.
This is good. I think it's served, and that's exactly what, exactly what we needed.
Perfect. Any other thoughts?
No, Giants, feel the feels, and then get engaged, get committed, and go do giant things. You're doing great.
I love it. And stay connected, man. We've got a great community here. Stay connected. Others are on the same journey you are. And so there's a lot of people that feel lonely right now in the world, in a time where we're more connected than we ever have been. And there's a community here where people are just like you, doing the same kind of work you're doing, that want to be supportive of that. So stay connected, get connected. Yeah. I love your unconscious rants. I just straight black out. Like, did I do that? All right, guys. We love you. Thanks for being a part of our show. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Remember that. And so giving yourself some grace around that is really going to serve. Be gentle with yourself. Keep stepping. repetition repeated, small things repeated create complexity. So we'll see you in the next video.
Love you too.